All right, good morning or good afternoon, depending when you're listening to this video. This is for my AP Literature 5th Block students, and this is Mrs. Egger. So today is Friday, February 24th. Because I do have my vaccination appointment during our class meeting, I'm recording this asynchronous lesson, but it's meant to take up about the same amount of time as class would take up. So today's agenda, you guys are ahead because of all the 80 snow days, so we'll skip the illusion for today. You'll have another illusion on Friday. When we talk about a quick reminder about Friday, quick reminder about your AP classroom, especially for those of you taking the AP exam. And then I just want to briefly, like 5 minutes, introduce today's lesson. So just a reminder about Friday. Friday is an asynchronous day for the entire county. So because we meet on Fridays, I am going to provide a lesson, sort of like today. I'm going to record a video. And what we'll be doing is an introduction to Their Eyes Were Watching God. That's our next novel. So please find that novel if you don't already know where it is. We're all done with The Stranger. We're wrapping that up, except we are going to, at the end of this quarter, have an open prompt essay, which will ask you to draw from something major that we read this year. So you can choose from Their Eyes Were Watching God, The Stranger, or Hamlet for this year. So I'm going to give you an introductory video to Their Eyes Were Watching God for Friday, and then most of our class time you can go ahead and get started reading that novel. Practice for the AP exam. If you are taking the AP exam, please make sure you're logging into your College Board account. I'm not sure if your other AP classes are leaving practices in there, but there are some great practices that are multiple choice style questions, just like you would encounter on the AP exam. So I do have a section up there for you to complete if you've already completed it, and if you want more, just email me. I'll put another set up at the end of the week. And if you're not taking the AP exam, it's not as essential, but it's always good just to practice these skills. The AP class that we're taking, even if you're not going to be an English major, a lot of times you will have to take an English course in college, and this will really prepare you for that as well. But that said, remember that the AP exam, they do make the multiple choice questions really, really difficult. And I just say this so that you can manage expectations. If you get a 50% correct, like in a regular school assignment, I know that would be devastating. On the AP exam, a 50% is actually a decent score. 75% or anything close to that is great. Anything above that, you're a rock star. So just keep that in mind. A reminder about grades. Please check grades in Schoology and Phoenix. Make sure they're accurate. Make sure if there are things that are missing, you turn those in. And it's always a good idea just to email me if you turned in late work. When I go into each course, it does not notify me that work is ready to grade if it already is assigned a 0. So it's always best just to email me. Worst case, I get an email that I don't need. But if you don't email me, I probably won't see the assignment, at least not right away. And of course, reach out to me with any questions about your grades. So here's today's task. We're doing poetry analysis, but it's not a formal analytical essay like you're used to. So we're going to read this poem called We Wear the Mask, and there is a link to a YouTube recording of the poem. Instead of doing straight out literary analysis, which we've been doing a lot of this year, you're going to respond to a more personal prompt or a more creative prompt. You have 2 options to do so. The reason that we're doing this, first of all, I said this a lot before, the more you're exposed to poetry, the better you're going to be at understanding poems and analyzing them. I know that there happens to be anxiety if someone says, read this poem, you have 40 minutes, read the poem, analyze the poem, understand it, think insightfully about it, and write an essay about it, all in 40 minutes. That can oftentimes cause a lot of stress, and what we want to do is just reduce that stress and anxiety. So the more you're exposed to poetry, the easier it's going to be. So the assignment today, it still asks you to make strong connections between pieces of the poem, but it's asking you to do so in a way that's a little bit more creative. So you're practicing the skills that you need without being forced to write just a straight, kind of boring analytical essay. It's a little bit of a break from that. So the assignment, you're going to read the poem, of course, and I would definitely listen to it. Check out the YouTube link. Read it over several times. Make sure you feel like you really understand it. Then the assignment is write about a time when either you or a character from a work that we've read this year, and that could be a short story or a novel or a play. So think about Hamlet, think about all the short stories we've read, think about The Stranger, be creative, or it could be you yourself. When you yourself or a character has had to wear a mask in order to fit in with a certain situation, and this is obviously the theme of the poem about wearing a mask. So a character that's had to wear a mask in order to fit in with a certain situation. In your writing, I want you to make 3 specific references to the poem, and you can always do more than the required, so minimum of 3, but if all you have is 3, that's totally fine. Make 3 specific references to the poem. That means 3 direct quotes, and you're linking them to your response. Shorter quotes are usually better and more effective. Make sure you're integrating those quotes into your sentences. Some of you are doing amazing jobs at this. some of you, it's something that we still need to work on. So integrate short snippets of the poem into your own sentences to tie them into your point from the response. The grading for today's assignment, it's going to mimic the AP grading rubric, even though it's not a straight-on analytical essay. So you're going to get 5 points for the thesis, the controlling idea. This should be super easy. At this point, everyone should be getting, out of the 1 or 0 point rubric, everyone should be getting a 1 for thesis. You're just answering the question. The big part is the middle section of the rubric. This is 20 points, and this is evidence and support. So I'm checking that you have at least 3 specific quotes from the poem, and you want to integrate them into your point. So if you're talking about Hamlet having to wear a mask to fit in or something like that, make sure there are 3 specific sections of the poem that you then connect to Hamlet and his life. If you're using an outside work, if you've chosen the second one, a character from a work that we've read, you are welcome to find quotes from that work, but it's not at all required. My vision for the assignment was you're going to find quotes from the poem and then just make kind of paraphrases of the work in question. So if you're talking about Hamlet, you don't necessarily have to find a Hamlet quote to go along with it. You can instead paraphrase. When Hamlet is in the graveyard digging up, skulls or whatever, this is how that connects to this poem. And then finally, 5 points for sophistication. The sophistication point, I'll be honest, it's the most annoying one to try to get. You have to go above and beyond. It's like if you just answer the question, you're not going to get the sophistication point. They want to see something more. So go above and beyond, make really insightful connections, find nuances of meaning, like multiple layers of meaning and things like that, or you could write in an elevated style. Shoot for all 3 of those, and if you fall short on 2 of them, you'll get the 3rd one. And I will give, even though the AP exam it's 1 or 0, I will give a range of 1 through 5. So try for sophistication, and you'll at least get partial credit. All right, your assignment is in today's folder. I want you to try to have fun with this. I know we're analyzing poetry. I know for an English teacher like me, this would be a fun assignment, but I wanted to give you something that wasn't just a regular old poetry analysis. So try to have fun with this. Either use it as an opportunity to self-reflect. What's a time when you did have to wear a mask, and how does that connect to the poem? Or if you want to be creative, think about how a character that you've read would respond to this poem. I'm thinking of Marceau, the character from The Stranger. Does he ever wear a mask? Does he ever try to be someone he's not? I think he might be the only character in literature that would be really, I think it would be really difficult for him to relate to. But I think you could even make it work for him if you want to challenge yourself, for sure. All right, I look forward to reading your responses. And remember, Friday's an asynchronous day too, so I will not see you until next Wednesday, but I'm just an email away. So please email me. I'm checking email all the time. All right, talk to you later.